So back in my first year of engineering, I remember I lived such a quiet life of desperation. I would go to class and sit by myself, eat lunch by myself, and then take the bus home. And I remember thinking like, 50K for this, right? 50K in debt for this. Uni's supposed to be the best time of your life. But that's not how I felt, right? I was here alone by myself, not even enjoying it, going to class. I was staying up late doing these assignments that I didn't even care about, doing these random subjects. I remember thinking, man, this fucking sucks, right? This actually sucks. My mental health suffered. I was always procrastinating on these projects. And that led to even some semesters where I basically barely even passed. So if you relate to that, here's how I went from that kind of lonely, sad student who honestly was stressed out and barely even passing, to someone who actually gets consistently good grades and actually enjoys uni. This video is gonna help you so much, especially if you're like a STEM student or especially if you're an engineering student. I have even more details in my course below. But look, the first thing that I would actually do to, get yourself into this kind of locking in mode, right? I want you to lock in, but also be social as well, right? I want you to get good grades, but also be able to actually make friends and enjoy your uni experience. So, these things are not mutually exclusive. You don't have to actually go out to the club. You don't have to, stay out and have nights out to be social, right? These things are fun, they're great, right? But, back then I didn't really like doing that kind of stuff. I didn't really like drinking that much. So, even without it, you can still be incredibly social and have a great time. The first thing that I would actually do is I would limit my study time. Because I remember hearing this one girl talk about how much she studies. She studies 33 hours a week. And I remember hearing that, I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, that's such a shit life. And I'm betting that she doesn't actually study for that long. Probably more like 6 or 7, right? Because if you plan out these like super long study periods where you're gonna lock in, first off, you're going to procrastinate and not do them. Right? If you say that, oh yeah, I'm gonna study for 6 hours tomorrow, I don't think you're actually going to start doing it because it feels so intimidating. It's such a big task and you're like, oh, I don't want to do it. I'm too tired. 6 hours, it's such a big mental monster. But also, if you allow yourself so much time, you're going to end up being so inefficient. Genuinely so inefficient, right? So that's when you might start to do some of the bullshit tasks, right? Instead of doing the actual effective task, like, reading the briefs and reading the briefs and actually learning the concepts and doing practice questions, you end up just doing like bullshit, like just looking at the slides. Oh, and then halfway through, you're gonna go pick up your phone because someone messaged you. Oh yeah, hey bro, and then you go reply here, and then that's like 30 minutes gone, and then you go and scroll on Instagram as well. Like, just from being around uni, that's what I've observed a lot of people doing, right? I think I've seen like so many people just going to their lectures or actually sitting there to study, really. And what do? They end up on fucking TikTok. They end up watching YouTube videos. And then they feel productive because they went through some slides, but that didn't actually do anything. Instead of thinking that you need to study more, I would actually try studying less. Because I want to give you this kind of question. What if I actually force you to study, let's say 2 hours a day, right? 2 hours a day. That might sound, depending on the kind of person you are, that might sound like a lot or that might sound like very little, right? But what if I forced you to only study 2 hours a week? Maybe 1 hour a week, right? What would you do? What would you study? You would focus on the most effective task, right? You would focus on finishing out the assignments, learning for the assignments, doing past papers to learn the concepts, not doing any of the bullshit studying, not doing all the stuff where you're sitting around, you're half studying, half not, and then you get a notification and then someone else tells you, oh yeah, bro, let's go get lunch or whatever. Like, you're not going to allow distraction if I literally point a gun at you and tell you 1 hour a week. You're not going to do any of that kind of bullshit studying. So it's going to restrict your time. And so during this time, you're going to be way more focused, right? You're going to be way more focused. You're going to focus on effective tasks, right? So in that kind of 1 hour, you might actually end up achieving more than 6 hours of like bullshit studying, of pretending to study, right? So why don't you just do this? This will save you hours and hours and hours of your life that you could use to go and speak to people, to socialize, to, do something new, to go to a club maybe, but also you're actually saving a lot of brain energy as well. Because, trying to do 6 hours of bullshit studying isn't even easy. That's the thing, right? It's lazy, but it's not even easy. That's the thing. So it'll make you feel good because oh yeah, I studied 6 hours yesterday. Oh my God, I'm so cool. Shut the fuck up. You didn't actually achieve anything. That's the thing. That's the problem. You didn't achieve anything with that kind of studying. That's the thing that you should actually measure. These kind of limits will really keep you focused and really keep you on edge, right? It'll really keep you studying really hard. And you'll actually achieve even better results because of that increased focus. So what you want is that you want to limit your time. And instead of thinking 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, especially if you're doing a STEM heavy subject like engineering, but I fucking did engineering. I barely studied that much anyways. So I barely study that much nowadays, really. But if you set limits, it'll help keep those hours that you do to study really, really focused. So what you could do for this is literally just do a timer, right? 1 hour timer. And you think, oh yeah, that's all I'm gonna study today. You're gonna be so focused throughout that. And if you do everything, put your phone away, turn off your computer, and just focus on the actual thing itself, focus on the code, or focus on the assignment, or focus on the paper and question itself, then you're going to achieve so much more. So that's what I do. And then you realize, shit, I actually have so much time, right? Especially as a uni student. You have so much time so that you could spend it doing other things instead of having to study hours and hours and hours across the day. You can get this and you can do well with only 1 hour a day, honestly. 1 hour a day is probably even a lot, really. 1 hour a day on weekdays, really. But this will allow you to do other things that will actually make you happy and enjoy your uni experience. This will be good because you get a good sense of achievement, you get decent grades, right? That's pretty nice. But then the real uni experience comes from meeting new people, speaking to new people, maybe doing some other stuff as well, achieving other aspects aside from academics. So what I would recommend you to do to really do happiness optimizing, fun maxing, really. The things that I've done this year to really make myself really enjoy uni is basically focusing on some of the hobbies that I enjoy. So, I spend loads of time in the gym, right? Because I don't study for hours and hours and hours, I can just spend 3 hours in the gym just because I can, right? Just because I enjoy it. And, I go to the gym, I'm always socializing on campus, right? All these different things that I can do that just make me a lot happier. I do a bunch of mental health habits, right? I do, for example, meditation, I do gratitude, right? And I do those habits every single day, and they help boost my mental health. And I, do some reading as well. All these things that you could start to incorporate to actually make you enjoy your uni experience, right? Because I remember the main thing that I felt was loneliness, right? And so the way that I started to overcome that, feeling so lonely on campus, was really just having to be the person that reaches out. You have to be the person who takes action, especially if you're a guy, right? You have to be the first person who speaks up and says hi to that person, whether it's a guy or whether it's a girl, right? That kind of magnetic person that is just kind to everyone, who speaks to everyone, who, everyone says hi to, right? He is magnetic because that kind of person is magnetic because they're happy, they kind of speak to people, they introduce themselves, they just speak to strangers because they can and they enjoy it, right? You could try some of the energy, right? I've been incorporating more and more of that energy into my life recently. For example, I go to the gym and, I go and dap up some people, I go and